Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down the big stories. Today, we're diving into a really high-stakes situation, President Trump's ultimatum to Iran. We're going to look at what got us here and, what happens when that clock finally runs out. So let's just jump right into the middle of it. This one single phrase is really at the heart of this entire standoff. It's a direct message, from the White House to Tehran, and it's got the whole world on edge. But to really get a grip on what's happening, we need to back up a bit and look at the fragile piece that just fell apart. Okay, so to really feel the weight of this threat, we have to rewind just a little bit. Before all the ultimatums and the military buildups, there was this brief, really fragile moment of calm. It was a shaky kind of peace, but it at least offered a tiny glimpse of things cooling down. And then, boom, that calm was just shattered. After only 2 weeks of this really delicate ceasefire, reports started coming out from Iranian media about blasts over the capital, Tehran. We still don't know the cause, but the effect? It was immediate. The quiet was over, and suddenly, the path to a direct confrontation looked wide open. So, right after that ceasefire was broken, the White House response was incredibly swift. President Trump didn't wait. He issued a very direct, very public message, an ultimatum aimed squarely at the leadership in Iran. He went on his Truth Social platform and, he made his position crystal clear. The message couldn't be simpler. He's saying the U.S. has the upper hand here, and Iran's time to come to the table and make a deal, well, it's running out fast. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Trump makes a pretty crucial distinction. On one hand, he says he wouldn't use nuclear weapons, that they should never be used. But in the very next breath, he claims the U.S. has already, and I'm quoting here, decimated them with just conventional force. It's a really calculated piece of rhetoric, right? He's projecting this overwhelming strength, while at the same time looking like he's keeping the ultimate weapon off the table. And look, this isn't just talk. This ultimatum is being backed up by a really significant and very visible show of military force in the Middle East. It's a clear signal that Washington is absolutely prepared to act. So what's the most visible symbol of this power? It's a number, 3. That's how many U.S. aircraft carriers are now operating in the region, and each one of those is basically a floating projection of American military might. So let's break that down. The latest to arrive is the USS George H.W. Bush Carrier Strike Group. And that's not just the carrier, right? That's the whole shebang. An escort of cruisers, destroyers, and submarines. You combine that with a second carrier in the Red Sea and a third one also in the region, and you've got this incredible concentration of naval power that Tehran simply cannot ignore. But it's not just about having the ships there. It's also about new rules of engagement. The U.S. Navy has reportedly been ordered to, and this is a direct quote, shoot and kill any Iranian boat that's caught laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. This is a huge escalation. It dramatically raises the risk of a direct military clash at sea. Okay, so all this military power, all these threats, it's all converging on one very narrow but incredibly strategic body of water. This is pretty much the geographic heart of this entire crisis. We're talking about the Strait of Hormuz. It's that vital artery connecting the Persian Gulf to the open ocean. And when it comes to the global economy, especially the flow of oil, well, it's absolutely critical. And this number right here, this really puts it into perspective. About 1/5, that's a fifth of the entire world's oil supply that has to pass through this single narrow strait. So any disruption here, it doesn't just send shockwaves through the market. It means higher prices at the pump for you. It means supply chain chaos for businesses. It's real economic pain that's felt all over the world. And that's exactly what's happened. In a really big strategic move, Iran has basically retaliated by using its location to shut down the strait to shipping. This blockade completely transforms the conflict. It goes from being a regional military standoff to a full-blown global economic crisis. So, you've got military assets moving into place. You've got a vital economic artery just choked off. Is there any room left for diplomacy? Is there any kind of off-ramp from what looks like a collision course? Let's just look at the timeline here because it shows how fast this whole thing has spiraled. You go from a ceasefire to blasts over Tehran to Trump's ultimatum. Each step has pushed the situation further and further away from any kind of resolution. And now, even the potential for peace talks, which were supposed to happen in Pakistan, they're hanging by a thread. And that leaves us with the big, critical question. You've got the U.S. flexing its military muscle, Iran blockading a vital waterway, and diplomacy, well, it seems to have stalled completely. So what happens when that clock runs out? What does the end of this countdown actually look like? The entire world is watching to find out.